What's up everybody, another beautiful day in the Dragon Isles, and today I wanted to talk a bit about Enhancement going into the new raid of Amirdrassil in 10.2. Tuning aside, we're looking incredibly comfy going into the new raid, and I say tuning aside because things can always change on PTR, but we are in a very comfy spot at the moment. So just looking at the raid fights individually on both Heroic and Mythic, mainly from a Elementalist build point of view, there is a lot of fights that fit our niche, if you will, due to our ability to funnel damage, but also our ability to do very bursty cleave and up to 6 target AoE. So starting off with the old Gnarl route, which has a lot of hectic add cleave as well as a damage amp intermission, where the boss takes 100% increased damage. So all throughout the normal phase you'll be bombarded by small adds, all of which helps feed your Maelstrom generation. And it also gives you additional targets for your Splintered Elements Primordial Wave, giving you constant access to that 40% extra haste to smash into bows, which allows us to shove a few spicy elemental blasts up our Gnarl route, while still doing a ton of AoE. And on Mythic you will get some big tree adds spawning with the small adds, and they need to die fast. So again, being able to use all the extra targets to funnel in a ton of damage into those high priority adds is going to be great for early prog. Give it a month though and I might be pressing Chain Lightning instead, but still. So going into the intermission damage amp, most likely we won't have any adds up for that, so we won't be able to Primordial Wave pad, but we are able to squeeze out a lot of burst in our Primordial windows. With or without the new 4 set, you'll still be able to fire off 2 fully stacked elemental blasts during your wolves in this damage amp window, combined with the Primordial Wave slap and the 20% haste you now get on single target, which used to be 10%, combined with the rest of our talent tree rework, and yeah, we be slapping. Then we can move on to IGA. The biggest extra pad we can get here is from the spears that spawn, giving us additional targets for our Primordial Wave, and if the strat for dealing with the spear ends up being stacking them on or near a boss, well, then we can get even more done, since we can cleave with all the Frosty Shocks as well. But if they do drop it away from boss, you can still either just turn around and throw a Flame Shock or 2, then Primordial Wave Lightning Bolt, unless they need to die fast. Well, then you might need to run over. You can also jump and do a 360 no-scope Frost Shock on him as well, and the crowd goes wild. This will be even more noticeable on Mythic, where there's more spears with a lot more health. Regardless, Primordial Wave Lightning Bolt, all the spears followed up a Ice Strike empowered Frost Shock, and you've bursted them down quite a bit. So if the old spear ends up being something that needs to get bursted down fast, we can for sure deliver on that. As long as they're reasonably stacked at least. And utility wise, it was also great being able to self-heal during the healing absorbs, and Ancestral Guidance could do some heavy lifting during it or during spears, as there's a lot of them there as well. Then we can move on to the Sneaky Snake Volcross. There's not a ton to talk about since it's just a single target patchwork fight. Earth Shield will be nice. So let's talk Council of Dreams instead. 3 target council fight. Most of the time you'll have 2 targets stacked and a third away, but still in Flame Shock range, so we'll always be able to get 3 targets for all our Primordial Waves, but also 3 Flame Shock targets, so more Lava Lash CDR as well as damage from Ashen Catalyst. There may be a case where we play Crash Lightning as well, since it's a lot easier to fit now with the talent rework, and if so, we'll get more Maelstrom since constant 2 target, but overall just having a constant 3 targets for Primordial Wave does a lot for the old overall, and the amount of burst you'll be able to dish out on each Primordial Wave cycle. 4 set cannot come fast enough. Give it to me now. Now on Mythic, we're also able to help out Poison Dispel with our totem. Unsure if it was needed, but I used it for myself a lot during testing. Just remember that it also dispels other players, and if they haven't run out, well, also a great fight for Windrush. Not really gonna be game breaking, but it's nice to have, because there's a lot of movement, pushbacks, ducks. And for Ladar, the old Keeper of the Flame. In phase 1, he'll spawn 3 adds each time phase 1 repeats, but also 1 set of roots. So for example, on pull, you'll hold Primordial Wave for a few seconds, then you get the 3 adds that needs to die fast. So again, getting that Primordial Wave plus Frost Shock burst on them, and then funnel the rest into boss. And the root just gives an extra primordial wave target, but pad nonetheless, and again it's something that needs to die fast. So I may say pad, but being able to burst down the trees and roots is ethical pad. And when you get to phase 2, a lot of trees will spawn along the edges of the room, so it's hard to spread flame shock. However, you are able to manually flame shock a couple of them and primordial wave another one as they get closer. So you'll still get some value from Ashen Catalyst and more targets for your primordial wave. So you get a lot from them that you can just again funnel into boss during a burn phase. And we're also able to range stun him with totem, knock him away with thunderstorm, etc. to keep him from spreading fire in the middle of the room. Unless you want fire in your hole. For Smolderon, there's not a whole lot to say. Patchworky just like Volcra, so there's no magic pad to be had. There's a damage amp phase in the intermission, so again we're able to do a lot of burst during it, but yeah, nothing fancy. Mythic looks a bit spooky as the raid damage taken was pretty darn insane, so we may need to play around that a bit. Oh, well hello there, Spore Cloak. Then we can go over to Nimue. It's mostly a patchwork fight, however, there's some pad possibilities during the intermission. Boss doesn't go fully immune, so you can have Flame Shock rolling on her as well as the ad you're killing. Now, depending on timings and how far you're able to move the ad, I was able to get Flame Shock on the second ad, giving me 3 targets, but if that's not possible to do smoothly, then we'll prob not do that. Then we have Tendrel, Dragon Riding Extraordinaire. Here there be pads. Throughout the fight, boss will entangle the entire raid in roots. Roots that needs to die. Roots that are a lot of extra targets. So unless they nerf the root HP down into the ground, we're able to consistently get between 3 to 6 extra targets for primordial waves here, burning down the roots. On Mythic, if you break a root with something like Freedom or Spirit Walk, it will spawn an ad. Now there might be a chance that that's something you play around if it's out healable, which means more ads for funnel. However, that's a very big if and probably not. But hey, other than that, being able to self-heal during the 3 phases healing absorb was great and Ancestral Guidance helped out a ton. But mainly it's just the roots. They really are the root of the problem here. And they need to die fast, so yeah, slapping them with Primordial Wave Lightning Bolts and Frost Sharks will help out greatly. And lastly, we have Faraq, which I just gotta say, I don't have the faintest idea. We didn't get to test it, and judging fights just by the journal and tooltip info is usually not the way to go. My prediction is we will smack Dragon good. But yeah, overall, the point of this video is just to showcase that there's a lot of fights that fit us very well. All in all, the raid looks very enhancement friendly, and there's a lot of bosses and raid fights where we can use a lot of our toolkit and smash good. So I for one am extremely hyped to get into season 3, not only the raid but also M+. All aboard the enhancement train. That's pretty much it for this enhancement rant about the new raid Amirdrassil. Now if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments or become a patron or Twitch sub and get access to the Stankie Discord, where you can get help with anything raiding or enhancement related. Don't forget the usual stuff, like, comment, subscribe, and slap that notification bell. Thank you all for watching. I will see you next time.